How's it going, Godzilla fans, kaiju fans, collectors, and just general people of YouTube? This is Chanzilla1964 coming back to you with another figure review. This time we're going to be reviewing the newly released Bandai Movie Monster Series pre-radiation form of Godzilla -1, otherwise known as the Odo Island form of Godzilla -1. Now, just jumping right in on this guy, let's start with detail, because there's a lot to cover, and it's a lot of really nice detail. Starting with the face over here, let's get the best part out first. The face is very nicely detailed with all these very cool kind of, gnarly, scaly bumps, crocodilian looking skin going on here. You got a very nice dinosaur-like pupil. The face is almost T-Rex-like, or like that. Got the nostrils, the individually sculpted teeth as well. The spikes look very nice on the top of his head, and I like how there's a lot of very prominent spikes on this Godzilla form, which is interesting because you would think that that translated over to the next one, even though it looks like the spikes kind of stayed the same. It's just the fact that his body grew bigger. What kind of bums me out is that the chin spikes on this one, similar to the, I guess you can say the form that we're all used to, or the radiated form, is very mute for the spikes on the bottom of the chin. But the spikes over here is really nice. In fact, seeing this figure gives me a lot of hope for a Zilla figure in the near future. So Bandai, I'm just going to be keeping my eye out for that guy. Zilla 2004. Come on. Continuing down the body though. The spikes all the way down the neck is done very nicely like that. Then you got the shoulder pads here. Shoulder pads look like a mess of spikes and bumps. Looks very gnarly and I like it. Then you got these kind of very nice overlapping bone plating, I guess you can call them. Yeah, bone plates that lead to the elbow spikes. Then there's going to be kind of just this bumpy detail, or this kind of skin detail on the top of the arm, which is really cool. That ends off with the fingers having the same bony plate detail as the upper arms, I guess you can call them, leading off to these really nice claws. The inside of the hand, you got some very nice detail on the inside of the hand too, and the inside of the bicep. So yeah, since we're on this side, this arm is going to be the same. The chest over here has some very nice detail with the bony plating coming out here as well. Definitely a lot more pronounced than the Godzilla -1, the perfect form of him. I'm just going to call him the perfect form, honestly. And then it leads to the ab area, the crotch ab area over here. All very nicely detailed. You're going to have the same crocodilian kind of skin detail on the leftover parts where there is no bony plating or ab detail. So yeah. And then on the leg, you're going to find more crocodilian detail. A little more spikies as well, with kind of a mess of spikes and bumps for this part of the leg. That leads off to a little more kind of what you see the beginnings of the bony plate detail for the final form of Godzilla -1's foot. Then this takes us all the way down the tail, which is all very nice crocodilian detail. Which I liked about this Godzilla form is the fact that it looks so much like a crocodile, which is really cool. Underside of the tail here, you're gonna have some more similar crocodile detail. Underneath the tail, got some cracks over here, which are very nicely done. You got the copyright stamp here. Now the spikes for Odo Island Godzilla -1. I like how they did the spikes. It's very nicely done. The detail is all there. I like the detail work for it. It's just the spikes are really weirdly huge, but I can see what they mean when people say that, what is it? This Godzilla could kind of look like a more whale-like version of him, and that his fins kind of, I can see how this translates to the logo that they're having for Godzilla -1, where it's just got this really big kind of G and it's like a big fin, even though it's not, I can see where the misconceptions could be coming from. And I can also see how it translates well into this guy, because if we look here, his tail kind of looks like Mewtwo, the tip of Mewtwo's tail. He kind of has a whale-like face in that, it's very dinosaur-like, versus the other ones, which is just kind of not really dinosaur-like. If that makes sense. So yeah, detail for Godzilla, detail for Odo Island Godzilla -1 is very, very nice. I like what Bandai did with this guy, and I like, you know, what the creative team for Godzilla -1 came up when creating this character, this 4 version of Godzilla, because personally he's probably one of my favorites, or one of my favorite Godzilla designs, not gonna lie, for this year, or in general. He's one of my favorite Godzilla designs, just the overall kind of T-Rex look of him, and how he just looks so like crazy crocodilian and real. It kind of reminds me of the Godzilla Heritage Godzilla, which personally I thought the design was really, really cool. So seeing it kind of really, really close and mixing with Godzilla -1 puts this guy kind of on the top of my list for one of my favorite Godzilla designs. Yeah, that's just a personal preference. Moving on to paint. Paint is going to be very minimal on this guy, but what we do have is pretty good, except for one part, which is going to be hit or miss. So the only paint that we're going to have is going to be the mouth and the teeth, which are all very nicely done. As you can see here, for the mouth, you're going to have this very nice kind of magenta fleshy red color, and then the teeth are going to be painted this very nice bone white color. The toenails are going to be painted this really nice black color. Toenails and the fingernails, see, toenails, fingernails, and you're going to get this very, very cool kind of, I want to call it, it's not army green, but it's kind of like a swampy green color across, kind of just dry brushed, very it looks very messy in my opinion, and kind of haphazard, even though I kind of see what they're going for, but in some places it's kind of a hit or miss, especially on the neck. But there's this very nice kind of swampy green paint, which I'm digging it, honestly. I really dig this paint. Yeah, but that's gonna be about all we get. Like, there's no paint over here, and it's just kind of like, yeah, it's just a little sad. The eyes are going to be painted very nicely, although I will say that there is some quality control issues with this guy's eye, because as you can see for this guy's eye here, there is a little bit of orange paint with a black pupil all over the gray eyeball, and that's done very nicely. But this is just the left eye, or right eye, I'm sorry. For you come to this eye looks jacked up as shit. So for the paint for the eyes, like any Godzilla figure, it's going to be a hit or miss. Sadly for this figure, it's going to be getting a similar treatment as the perfect form for Godzilla -1, but it in no way detracts from the overall, you know, badassery that this figure is, in my opinion, because I sort of like this figure. And I'm just going to be repainting him, honestly, like I do for the other ones. Which, by the way, if you haven't watched the channel's first ever paint customization video, please be sure to give it a watch. Link will be somewhere around here. But, yeah. Moving on to articulation. Both of Odo Island Godzilla -1's arms move. And both of the legs move as well. Very smoothly. Now, there is no head articulation. And there is glue set of the tail, but the tail does not move. So yeah, you got 4 points of articulation for this guy. For size comparison here, we have the perfect form of Godzilla -1, which I'd say with the 6-inch version, it doesn't size up quite as well if we were talking about movie accuracy, because this guy's supposed to be like 15 meters and this guy's like 50 meters. 1550. So of course it's not going to size up well with 6-inch versions of them. But if you get if you do get the 8-inch version of Godzilla -1 here, then I think it sizes up just fine with this Odo Island version of Godzilla -1. But playability wise, they look really, really good together. Him being a little shorter, on the shorter end, where he's about 5.5 inches or so, it's to be expected that he also looks a little smaller, which is kind of a cool thing to see for Godzilla, because if you have like Ghidorah figures which are about 6 inch. I think that the sizing matchup for playability wise will also be really, really nice. So you got some options with this guy, honestly. Yeah, it's a really cool choice that Bandai went with to make him a lot shorter, because I know the Manila figure that we're gonna be getting this coming year, I think is about the same height as 1964 Godzilla, which is about 6 inches. So that's gonna look a little weird. Even though I do wish that Bandai would do the, you know, give Manila this treatment where they make Manila a little smaller too, kind of in the 5-inch scale, just because he is shorter than Godzilla in all of the films. So yeah. Some other cool detail things from the tail that I thought Bandai did very nice job with is the fact that they added these little scars over here. I don't know what they're from, if they're from a boat or if they're from a fight, but it's really cool that these details are added, even though we didn't really see them in the movie. And you got 2 on this side as well. I tried looking around the rest of the body. Oh, there's 1 on the leg, 1 on this side of the leg, 2 actually. But the rest of the body, as far as I can see, I don't see any other scars. 1 on the arm, 1 on this arm. I'm only finding them now. Wow, okay. I'm trying to look for some on the neck because I remember seeing some scars on the neck when watching the movie. Might have been wrong. I want to say that's a scar, but it may not be a scar. Yeah, it's not a scar. It's just an indent. But either way, the little scarring detail on this guy really adds to the figure's character and the depth of, you know, pretty much the depth of Oda Island Godzilla's character too for -1, because it's just, there's a lot of history there, but we don't know exactly what history, and it just kind of adds to the mystery. Yeah, I think I just rhymed. Anyways, though, that'll just about do it for today's figure review. Overall, I would say if you guys are a big fan of Godzilla -1, this figure is a must-have to get. But if you are just not, if you're hit or miss for Godzilla -1, I leave the decision totally up to you. Because for me, I think it's, you know, one of the best Godzilla movies of all time. One of the best, not the best, but one of the best. And that's just my take on it. Or you can watch my review of the movie on the channel too. That video is going to be somewhere around here. And yeah, I would suggest getting this guy before it jumps off of Hobbling Japan or the Godzilla store, and heads over to the aftermarket, because I think the pricing might be a little killer, even though I don't see it getting as bad as some other figures. For example, the Godzilla the Art figure by Parco, which I do not believe I'm going to be getting that figure because how ridiculous the pricing is and how ridiculously hard it is to get. So sorry, but that's going to be one Bandai figure that I won't be getting, sadly, which I'm bummed about, but it's just one of those things where I'm not willing to pay that much for that figure, and I'm not going to be going to Japan to, you know, freaking do that whole Parco deal. And it kind of bums me out that that's the only way right now that we can get this figure besides, you know, aftermarket pricing. So yeah, but this will do it for today's figure review, guys. If you guys liked this video, do be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. If you guys think I may have missed anything, heck, if you guys even know what those scars on his tail and his arms are supposed to be from, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm kind of interested. Let's get a conversation going on that. And if you like what you see on that channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button. This has been Chanzilla 1964 saying until next time, guys. Peace.